And we're going to look ahead to Manchester United's game at Fulham. Fulham against Manchester United is the first game that we're looking at in the Premier League this week. We've got Paul Robinson and Neil Mellor with us. Fulham 3.3, the draw 3.45, Manchester United 2.22. United like a visit to Craven Cottage. But Neil Mellor, do you feel that Fulham, who had a pretty decent win in the Carabao Cup in midweek, it was you'd expect them to beat Ipswich Town, but Ipswich,
very decent,
where they are, but a very decent side in the Championship.
I think you're doing Ipswich an injustice there. I think it was a very good win.
Well, as a Premier League side against a Championship side, you'd think maybe, but it was a good win, wasn't it? And Fulham, who've struggled for goals, got 3 against a very good side.
Yeah, good win, confidence booster for them. Obviously, last weekend in the Premier League, I thought they got a good result as well, away at Brighton. Not many would have fancied them getting something there. So a little bit of momentum, a little bit of confidence for Fulham. Goals is still a problem for them. Yeah, they haven't scored as many goals as games they've played. So 10 games played, 9 goals. That's not been enough for them. But you're looking at Manchester United and thinking, what a great chance for Fulham to turn United over. United, things we've spoken about aren't good at the moment at Manchester United. And I just feel as though this is a real chance for Fulham. United were knocked out of the League Cup. So for me, I'm looking at this and thinking, I don't think Fulham lose. You're looking at the odds there, and I think a draw or even a Fulham favourable odds. 2.2, struggling to find an argument for United to go there and win.
You might just say that the lack of goals that Fulham have got this season, Paul, but Manchester United coming to town, it's with that defence and the way that they're playing, it probably will be a different defence. You need to bring Varane back in that side. But United, it can't just be about Luke Shaw not being in the side, no stability. But they seem just completely upended.
Well, listen, at this time last year, who'd have thought that Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans would be the centre-half pair at Manchester United? I've seen them a couple of times this year. Defensively, they are susceptible. They do concede goals. But Fulham can't score goals. That's one thing we talk about every week is the lack of goals. Fulham most weeks are a good bet for an under 2.5, regardless of who they're playing. They played well at Brighton last week. Thought they got a very good result midweek. Unlike you, I thought they deserve a bit more credit for a win at a very good Ipswich side at the moment, who are sitting second at the top of the Championship. And
I did tip an Ipswich winning that. But
listen, they are where they are, Fulham. They're a decent side, and they're going to be between 8th and 12th or 14th every year. I mean, what are they now? They're 14th on joint 12 points with Chelsea, who are in 11th. And that's where you'd expect Fulham to be. I mean, they had a decent season last year, but I think they're a good Premier League side that struggle for goals at the moment. They need to get a striker in January. But regardless of who Manchester United are playing this weekend, it was going to be a tough fixture. It's not going to be easy. Yes, they've got a good record at Craven Cottage, but whoever Manchester United were playing this weekend, you could make a case for.
Neil, looking at Fulham particularly last week and that draw against Brighton, we were watching it here in the studio. And what I liked about particularly the equalising goal was they got at Brighton, they got at them up the pitch, a high press, turnover and goal. And that's what you want to see from a Fulham side who've got some exciting players in there.
Yeah, and I think that obviously the manager's signed a new contract. I think they've got an identity. I think they're playing for the manager. I think they all know the roles. Obviously missing a key player and lost Mitrovic hasn't affected their identity, but they're still lacking goals, and that will be a problem. I think that will affect them all season. I think good shout from Paul in terms of under 2.5 most goals you would expect for Fulham. But they've won 2 of the last 3 games at home, so certainly been an encouragement. Pick them up in terms of wins you'd expect to see them make. But quiz question for you on this fixture. You mentioned about United having the better of Fulham for a long time. 2009 was the last time Fulham beat Manchester United. It was 3-0. I want the goal scorers. 2 of them were former teammates of mine. One at West Ham, one at Liverpool. And the third goal scorer was an Irish boy who you might have played with. I think he played with Paul.
I'm going to guess that he didn't play with me and guess Damien Duff.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, but okay, maybe I was wrong there. But yeah, you were right.
It was Duffo.
Danny Murphy?
Danny Murphy. Have you got it down there or something?
No.
I'm
thinking the fourth one.
Tell you the coffee machine's working this morning.
So the third one was one former
teammate at West Ham.
West Ham. So you've got
Bobby Zamora.
There you go. You got it written down.
Yeah, you
tell you what, pull that
absolutely
out.
On fire.
It's a lot better than in the studio. We've got the computers.
No, there's nothing.
Genuinely,
nothing
they're off.
No, nothing at all. I didn't do that. What I will say is that they both have, for a 12:30, this doesn't go well. It actually works into the unders on the goals, and they've both got the worst first half record in the Premier League. So they don't wake up for 3 o'clock, never mind 12:30s. So the half-time draw or 0-0 is definitely in there. They're joint worst with Luton, both of these sides. But there's a case for Fulham, and we can make it. So how are we putting this bet together?
I would go under 2.5, draw at half-time, under 2.5, draw full-time, or Fulham to nick it. Listen, those of you out there that like your value, there's value in Fulham. There's a little bit of money to be had there if you're going to take the risk. If I was putting this in my acca this weekend, I'd be staying away from it. I wouldn't touch it. It's far too hard to call. This comes down to personal preference and personal opinion. I think unders in the goals, draw at half time, potential draw at full time.
Let's do that then. The under 2.5 with draw half time, draw full time is 10.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, that's just rejig. 6.25. So
still a bit there, isn't there?
Still something in that, Neil.
Yeah, no, I'm not certain on that under 2.5. I just think both teams will have a little spell. Pereira, goal scorer wise, I fancy Fulham or the draw. Pereira, ex-Manchester United, of course, has only got 1 goal this season. Away from home, hasn't scored at home. 1 in 14, but I like him. I do like him. I think he came off the bench last weekend, but I do like him as a player, Pereira. So maybe he's an option to get himself a goal.
Yeah, Fulham not beaten Manchester United in 14 years, so very much due on themselves. Bring that one in myself first up. That is Manchester United going to Craven Cottage in the 12:30 kickoff on the first game of this match week 10 in the Premier League.